Hello, it's Sonia from The Pretty Stitch, and today is my first video of the featured stitch of the week, which will be on Wednesdays. And today we are going to do the triple crochet or treble crochet. Now this is in US terms. There's a UK term, so all of my videos are in US terms. And we are going to be using an eye hook for 5.5 millimeter, and I just have regular worsted weight yarn. So we are going to be doing the triple crochet though, which is a nice tall stitch, and I decided to have this one as my first one because I have a couple stitch patterns coming up using this stitch, and I feel like we don't see it very often because it is a taller stitch and it's kind of it's not real dense, so you might not want to use this one, you know, let's say if you were making a pillow or something like that. And I apologize, I have another injury. Burned myself on the oven, and I have another one here too, so I'm really doing well. And to go with this scar, which was another burn a couple months ago. So hopefully this one will heal up a little bit better, but I don't know, I'm not gonna hold my breath. I guess I should stop cooking. Alright, so let's get started on this triple crochet or treble crochet. It's the same thing. So we are going to work, let's see, if we want to have a total of 8 stitches, then you're going to want to do a chain of 8 plus 3. So we are going to chain 11. Alright, so I have my 11 chains here. So we're going to get started on this triple crochet stitch. So what you're going to want to do is yarn over twice before you start. So we've yarned over twice, and you're going to want to work in the 5th chain from your hook. So however you like to work in your chain, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's stitch number 5. And you're going to insert your hook in that chain, and you're going to pull up a loop. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on our hook. We're going to work those guys off. So you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So these skipped 4 chains count as a stitch. So we're going to work the next triple crochet, so you're going to work right in the next chain. Yarn over, we've yarned over twice, we're pulling up our loop. So we have our 4 loops. So you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops until you've worked off all your loops till you just have your remaining. So now we have 3 stitches. We're going to yarn over twice, insert our hook in the next chain, pull up our loop. So I have my 4 loops, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, until I've worked them all off. Now we have 4, and we're going to keep on going. So it doesn't take long, it's just a lot of yarn overs and working off the loops. And you can see that it's definitely a taller stitch, and you know that it's not, you know, dense. They're spread apart. So this stitch, as I said before, might not be good if you wanted to make like a stuffed animal or a lovey for somebody, or if you wanted to make a pillow. You want those stitches to be a little bit more densely packed together. So now I'm at my last chain, and I do have this stitch in the basic. I consider this a basic stitch, so I have like crochet basics. They were some of my first videos, so they're pretty terrible. But we're doing this stitch again, and I will have it in the featured stitch of the week. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we wanted 8. So now we have 8 triple crochet. When this guy counts as a stitch. Now with some patterns, they will not count the skipped. I generally do. Some people really don't like the skip chain. I don't mind it. I think a nice tip for that, so that it's not, you know, standing out like this. You want it to kind of, you know, blend with the other one. So a good tip to help with that, because we are going to start row 2. So to start row 2, you're going to chain 4. So when you work that chain, just be mindful that your chain isn't loosey-goosey. You want the chain to be a little bit tighter, so that kind of helps with it, you know, not standing out so much. So I'm going to work, I generally crochet tighter anyway, so it's not really an issue for me, and maybe that's why I don't mind it so much. But some people, you know, they're a little bit looser of a crocheter, which is fine. There's no right or wrong, but I just find if your chain is a little bit on the tighter side, then it doesn't look so terrible, you know. I mean, to me, when I look at this, I don't think that looks bad at all, because it's not super loose. The chain is about the same consistency of my stitches. So we are going to start row 2. So we've chained 4, and you're not going to want to work in here because this is counting as your stitch here. We're going to work here, and we're just going to do the same thing, inserting our hook, pulling up our loop, and working off those stitches by yarning over and pulling through 2 stitches. So this is a nice stitch if you want an airier looking stitch. Good in shawls, you know, you can certainly make it in a blanket. Some people like a blanket that, you know, they can kind of poke their fingers through. I know some children like that. You can do a lot of neat things. You can work, a lot of cable stitches are used with triple crochet. And with all of the stitches, or when we do the stitch of the week, the featured stitch of the week, if I have a pattern utilizing the stitch, I will certainly post a link in the description box. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I make one later, then I'll put it, you know, in later. So just check that out and see if there is one. And the pattern might be another video, or it might be a written pattern. I'm sure I have something using this stitch. So we have worked 2 rows of this. Now, I didn't say, I was talking, and when you come to the last stitch, you just want to work in the chain here. So you would work on top of the chain. I just poke my hook in there because that counts as a stitch. Because you want to keep with the same amount of stitches. Of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when you see that, like, I don't notice this chain standing out, you know, too much from the rest of these guys, because I do tend to chain a little bit more tightly, and it can be a pain to work in a tighter chain, but I think it just makes your work look a little bit more neat. So we'll do one more row for row 3. So we're chaining 4 and turning our work. So yarn over twice. Again, this counts as a stitch. And we're just going to work the triple crochet all the way across for a total of 8. And as you can see, I did chain more tightly, just so that it kind of matches the rest of the stitches. And that can even apply when you're doing double crochet. You know, you often will chain 3, turn, and that will count as a stitch, and some people, you know, just don't like the look of it. So if you chain a little bit more tightly when you're, you know, doing your chain 3 turning, it, you know, might help with it, you know, not sticking out so much and not looking like the rest of the pattern. Now there are little tricks and things that people have done to eliminate it, or they'll say that, you know, chaining 3 is wrong or it's ugly, and as I say, there is no crochet police. So any of those things are just suggestions, and you know, you do what you do what you like. I actually don't mind the chain 3 or the chain 4, which is in this case here, so I am working on top of the chain 4. And there we go. So we have now completed 3 rows. And so this is the triple or treble crochet. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching.